Hi everyone, welcome to Lambs. Not the lambs as in the bad lambs, but Louisburgh area men's shed. Come on in, we'll meet the guys and see what they're up to in here in the shed. Hello everyone.
Hello.
David, and we have David, and we have Austin Francis, and we have somebody hiding over there, Joe, and we have John over here. How are you all doing, guys?
Very well. You're very welcome.
Thank you so much for bringing us into your Louisburgh area men's shed. Francis, we'll start with you. Would you like to tell us a little bit about the Louisburgh area men's shed?
Delighted, and once again to welcome everybody here to this lovely area of Louisburgh. The men's shed, just to put you in the picture on a brief discussion of it, it all started back in the year 2016, nearly 4 years ago now. And how that happened and come about was at a community futures meeting. There was a big debate, and it was all about men's health and mental awareness and stuff like that. And David Gray, anyways, and myself got our heads together, and we said we really need a men's shed in the area.
Yeah.
So that's what happened in respect of that. So of course the next thing then was, where are we going to get a building and funding and stuff like that. So what happened after that was, I had a meeting with Minister Rain because I knew he had maybe some funding to put towards men's sheds. And on occasion on a Monday in Michael Ring's office, I was introduced to Owen Martin, that was chairman of the Connacht men's shed.
Oh wow.
So I had a good discussion with Owen, and he says, I will come to Louisburgh on an invitation, and he'd explain how all the workings of the men's shed would take place. So I came back out and I met with David, and we put a men's sheds meeting together upstairs here in the Darrellat, and invited Owen, and he came here on, I think it was a Monday evening at 7 o'clock, and we got a group of people together, which the heritage people that was in the area as well, some of them joined us. So we amalgamated the heritage and the men's sheds group together.
Brilliant.
After that, I was made chairman of the group, and we had a secretary of David Gray as well. And that continued anyways for, we'd say, the 2017 and into 2018. And I think it was on the 28th of August 2018, we had not an AGM, but it was, we'll say, a good meeting of all people got together, and then we put our officers in place, and I was re-elected as chair again.
Well, no better man for the chair, exactly.
And I know that that night there had to be a constitution, or a constitution was drawn up before that, but it had to be reconstituted, let's say, because I know John Maxwell was brought in as a second secretary today, because Dave explained he couldn't be always here.
Yes, of course. So it's a very legit organisation, as in you have your officers and you have a proper structure there and a plan. And John, do you want to talk about maybe some of the plans that you have or ideas that you've already achieved?
Well, I think Austin would like to just mention the fact that very shortly around that time we met Tommy Lyons.
That's right, and that was Tommy Lyons. We have to thank Tommy Lyons because seeing that we were having meetings upstairs, it wasn't costing us anything, and then Tommy, through Michael Salmon and Eamon O'Malley, our treasurer that apologised can't be here this evening, Tommy Lyons said he would grant us the use of this. It's the old arbiter that was here in Louisburgh.
Oh, I see, that's where we're underneath Scamps, really. That's the best way to explain it. Underneath Scamps.
You had many good night in Scamps.
You're not down here now, but at Scamps, yes, I was very sensible,
So, Tommy then made a very large donation. Now, we're not going to go into figures, but a very large donation to the men's sheds to get it off the ground and up and running.
Fantastic. That was brilliant. To get the ball rolling, wasn't it, John?
I'll hand over now to John. He'll cover a bit more, and I'll do the cat.
Well, yes, then we opened an account in the credit union, and we started thinking about fundraising.
Yeah.
At the same time, and shortly around that time, Mairead Stanton John Stanton's Sister Mairead, offered us the use of a site where we could build a men's shed on a free rolling lease basis.
Wow,
In other words,
fantastic.
it wouldn't cost us anything, but the lease would have to roll over so that ensure that continuity of the ownership of the site if anything should ever happen to the men's shed.
Yeah.
And very quickly we got planning to build a men's shed on that.
Brilliant.
And we have the plans for the shed, and it's a very high spec plan.
Only the best.
Yes.
For the men of Louisburgh, huh?
Yeah. So we then started fundraising, and the very first fundraising involvement of the men's shed was to join the management committee from the local school. They were looking to extend the playground there, and you might remember between the men's shed and the management committee, they put on lip sync.
I do remember it well, John, because we were runners-up in that, so we were back
Yes,
in the day.
but lip sync was a big success.
It was a fantastic night, really
Yeah,
was.
it was
Fantastic
great.
night.
And then we got the idea for the men's shed to raise funds to produce and stage a mock wedding.
That's right, that's right. First time ever in Louisburgh, a
Yes.
mock wedding.
And the mock wedding became very popular, very well attended, very big success, and was talked about all over Mayo and Galway.
And still talked about it.
Yes, it was very good. After that,
The stag was also talked about.
yes, very good.
The stag. There was
After that, we got involved with Tia one night,
Yeah.
and the men's shed, I think 19 or 20 of us got together, and we raised considerable funds for the Order of Malta, and that was a very successful
That was a brilliant
night.
night as well.
It was,
No,
yeah.
You've done a lot of fundraising for other organisations.
We did, and
You know, you really have. You've done a lot. But tell me a little bit about the men's shed. Obviously, the criteria. You have to be a man to join the men's shed.
Well-
Is there certain criteria, or is it open to?
It's open to everybody.
There's no criteria to join the men's shed at all.
Age-wise.
Age or religion or anything like that doesn't come in.
So it's completely
And,
inclusive of.
you know,
Or gender.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have.
All right.
We have.
We cannot exclude anyone.
No, we have quite a large number now. It's built up, you know, from 5 or 6. We have a good number, but
Yeah.
we're hoping to increase that.
Increase that.
The interest.
Yeah, and how does somebody watching this maybe now? I know obviously COVID-19 has put a kind of a damper on things, as in you might have physical meetings.
Yes.
I'm sure you've kept it online or phone calls or that. But when you're back up and running and that, how does somebody join the men's shed?
Well, just if they can contact myself or David,
Yeah.
you know, or John
We
Maxwell.
invite people, and the word goes round,
Yeah.
and there is a number of people now waiting for us to start again.
Brilliant, brilliant.
And they will join.
That's
We will
brilliant.
frequently have something in the Louisburgh Notes, and you.
Yes.
Perfect, so they can keep an eye on those things there, yeah. It strikes me that there's huge generosity in Louisburgh. I mean, we know that for years anyway, but to hear you guys talk about how you initially started and the generosity of people to get you on the path to go, and then you're giving that back again to the community with all these fundraisers. I mean, it's just, isn't it a great place to live, Louisburgh? It really is.
Fantastic.
I'm really interested in some of the projects that you've been involved in, and we've seen out at the crossroads, the Leanon Crossroads there's a beautiful stack of turf piled up in it.
That was one of the first projects that was taken on board then. You know, was the donkey cart, which stands out. You
It
know,
really
there.
does, very colourful
you
and
know,
bright.
even the hand cut turf that's in it, like
Yes.
that's nearly gone out of
Slain.
fashion too. That era
It
gone
is
as well.
slain turf.
Now we have, you know, the other project is our horse cart, which is very ancient as well.
Much bigger than the donkey cart again.
That horse cart, you know, it was the late Paddy Riley, and he was a builder here in Louisburgh, and it was him that constructed that cart, and it was John P. Harness of Legan in Banal that was the first owner of that
Of
cart.
this cart. So this
Yeah.
is quite old.
Oh, that is an old cart.
And that iron wheels, as you see.
Seamus, do you want to tell us a bit? You've been working on this project.
Well,
haven't you?
just, can I finish?
Oh, sorry for
Yeah.
this.
Just Now, it was John P. Hermes, as I said, that owned it. And then, you see, later down the years, you know, when people and farmers got to be getting a little more modern, it was converted down to a cart with rubber wheels on it. And we used to call that, you know, a float or a bogey.
A bogey,
you understand?
Yes. Yeah.
And then that cart went all the way to Michael P. Prendergast back in Offaly.
Okay.
And it's been his lifetime there, and Michael P.'s brother, Paddy, he gave it to the heritage people, you know, which Michael Salmon and them chaps are involved.
So
that's
how old are we talking about? How many years do you think?
That carriage back in the 20s would have been different be.
1930s.
It would be in that year.
Wow.
Yeah, it would be in that year.
I mean, the history that's in that has gone from farm to farm, or, you know, the work that has been involved. So Seamus, you were on the restoration of this. You've been given the task of.
Myself and Michael had started on the late last year.
Yeah.
So there's the wheel here. There was a lot of wood warm in it, so we took that apart and we got a new tank of ash with this wood here. So we had to carve out the bandsaw.
The fellow,
The pellets, yeah, pellets.
You hand carved that out by hand.
Yeah, with the bandsaw.
Wow.
So they're just together now at this stage. The locks down in, and we couldn't do it anymore. So we spoke to go ahead and now talk and this is the rest of this is the cap, so we put new floor on it and sideboards and trees on the side.
On the side,
Yeah.
that's the side. So this is some of this timber that's really old. I mean, I can see some of that could be some of the actual original timbers.
Oh,
Possibly
that's the original.
That's the original timbers.
Yeah.
It's 1930, guys.
Yeah.
Phenomenal, absolutely
Yeah,
phenomenal.
yeah, it's in good shape.
It was obviously worked hard. It was obviously well cared for by the owners as well, because it looks absolutely in great shape. But that's really, I mean, so you had the skill, have you yourself to know how to?
I never did it before, but I like to restore equipment and stuff like, you know, it's great.
Because I don't think I know anyone, you know, partners who go in and say, here, let's make it, you know, because to make it to the original dimensions again would be quite a task, let's say, to
Yeah, well, I'm sure.
Explain how getting the wheel itself made is one thing.
Yeah.
But there's a very special engineering in putting the iron tire on. And the way that's done is you mark the ground with the wheel and you set a fire all round. And you take the iron rim and you put it in the fire and leave it in there and it gets nice and hot. And then you lift it with two big tongs and you take it over and put it onto the wooden frame of the wheel and you tap it into place, and then you get your buckets of cold water and throw it on it, and it tightens up, never comes off.
Oh my God. I'm holding you to task now, John. You better record that when you guys are doing it. I mean, you wouldn't find that in some movies, honestly.
When I was about 14 or 15, I got a wheel like that made and done by P.T. Ryder of Falduff. And old P.T. now, not young people either, old P.T. The grandfather of young people was there.
Yeah.
And that's how I know it was done.
So he's the expert go-to when this is going to go on, to make sure that he has it step by step, and no step is missed in the path as well.
Arnie's garage, that's, you know, put the rubber wheels on it, that's where that job was.
Okay, so things are modernising a bit, possibly the roads were a bit more softer, was it?
The point about it was, the iron wheel, it was extraordinary for cutting up the fields when you went in with, you know, seaweed or stable manure or anything like that. And of course, the rubber wheel was great in, but it wasn't doing that damage. The most thing that I used to love about the iron wheel was when the farmers, you know, always in November, they'd be called to work to build the bog roads and other roads as well. But to hear the iron wheel on a moonlight evening coming home under the horse, you know, it was something else. I can still remember you know. Yeah.
And how many people would you think now, if you get this going, will be fit in the cart? Does it depend on the horse? The strength of the horse?
I don't know, we nominated as horse.
We'll have to get a horse now.
Horsepower you need, huh?
Yeah.
You have to come up with a horse. I just think that's fascinating, guys. It's absolutely fascinating to be able to restore that. It's a very huge undertaking to bring it back to life. It really is. It's a lot of work, but you're doing a great job. But definitely, we'll be back to see when you're putting the band on. I'm looking at this ornament over here in the corner. Not Joe now, but the tractor.
Yeah. Well, Joe is enhancing it at the moment, but there was a tractor here. It's not here anymore. And this happened to be, at one stage, my pride and joy for bringing turf from the bog. And on one occasion, I overloaded it.
Okay.
And it was a half an hour run from Strathclyde to my place. And coming from Mulla up the hill, it's a steep rise for a metre and a half. A kilometre and a half.
Yeah.
And by the time I got to the top, there was a lot of smoke and heat, and I stalled.
He was a bit aggressive with that.
And I had to get it towed back to the farm, and it lay there for a while, and then I joined the men's shed, and we were talking about, and I says, "You want a project of restoring a tractor?" And he says, "Oh, absolutely." So we had it in here, we got it professionally assessed by a man who knew engines, and we discovered that there was a crack in the main block due to the heat. So we had to get a new engine, and Joe and his fellow Declan Keane, and they managed to source a new engine down in Clare.
Wow.
And that's where I got that cab from when I originally bought the old tractor. That cab came from Clare. So the tractor has a new engine in it, new wheels, all decorated. It's gone out for final spraying and decorating.
Oh, fantastic.
And as soon as it's back to full glory, we are raffling it. We are going to sell tickets and raffle it for the men's shed. It will have a value of around maybe 5,500, 6,500. But we'll sell tickets anyway, and the proceeds will all go into the men's shed.
Into the men's shed.
But
Fantastic.
hopefully raise a few bob. So we'll be depending on the local community.
So we're going from the 1930s right up to 2020
Oh,
with
by the way,
tractor, huh?
the tractor that I'm talking about, and there's a little bit of a dispute about this, but it appears, I have the book for it, the logbook. It appears that it was bought by a man in Clare in 1958.
Really?
And it was registered on the road around that time. And it ended up in Clifton. That's where I bought it of a fellow over in Clifton, a man who was very talented in music. And I bought the tractor from him and brought it in, and I done a little bit of restoration on it. It was a lovely tractor. I put lights and indicators and everything on it. But then when the engine went, it was sitting there, and now it's going to be restored to a beautiful new tractor again.
I'm really impressed, guys, from the skill sets again, and
The Declan Keane and the lads that took on that project,
yeah.
they have a good knowledge of engines and tractors and things, and they're doing a fantastic job.
Oh, they are. No, it's fantastic to think that that there's so many things going on in the men's shed, instead from scratch, from restoration, from other products to go back up to.
Well, we were involved in with the Tidy Towns last year, and
Correct, yes, and we've done, some work with the tidy towns and painting old buildings and stuff like that, and that's what the men's sheds are all about,
we help out, but it's mostly to provide a venue where people and old men or young men who are living alone in isolation, and now with the pub laws and all, those men had no place to go. They couldn't come down as they used to from way up the rural areas and have a pint or two and go home. They can't do that anymore. So a lot of them now have joined us, and they find we come in, we sit down on Wednesday nights, we have a cup of tea, we play cards in the pastoral centre down there. We rent a room there. And some of our guys are extremely talented, and we have one man who, one man gave a demonstration on baking one night, and the porter cakes became very popular as a competition.
I heard a rumour about porter cakes
Who could
and
provide us?
moving on to brown breads and stuff, but I think there was a lot of porter in the porter cakes that night, so that's why they tasted so good. And so,
More cakes
there may be a cake sale as a fundraiser down there. So you'd be well advised, guys, if you see a cake sale advertised for the men's shed, get in there and get your cakes. You won't taste anything like them.
Joe Fergus started putting duck eggs in his cake.
Duck
and
eggs.
It seems that they were deemed to be a better cake.
And I heard a rumour about a little boy band.
Oh yes,
Yeah?
we have our own band.
Oh,
Yeah,
tell us more.
Well, last year when we sold tickets, Michael Tom Durkin gave us, we wanted something for fundraising. Michael Tom Durkin immediately gave us the use of his holiday villa in Spain, which is one of the most upmarket villas right on the seafront, and that was our first prize.
Fantastic.
Now, it would have been worth probably £1,200-1,500 at least for a week, maybe 2,000
a week. Yeah.
And then we got a few other prizes. The bingo gave 500, and there was a few other donations, and all of a sudden there was a whole load of sponsors. We ended up with 20 prizes.
Wow.
And we sold tickets, and we had a fantastic night. The draw took place in Dawson's in the Candy. It was a superb night, and our own band played there. 5 or 6 members. The name of our band is Forever Young.
Forever Young.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And the famous Joe Ford sang with a song or two with us that night, and it was fantastic.
There's brains to burn coming up with names like that.
All those people for, putting their shoulder to the wheel and, groaning behind us and giving us great support. And of course, like everybody, because if you go mentioning names or
Of
stuff
course,
like
yeah.
that,
And
but
again,
everybody
it goes back to
you know,
the community spirit that is in Louisburgh. It's
And-
just phenomenal that people do go out of their way to support things. But look at the work you guys are doing and the entertainment you're bringing. And not only that, as you said, you touched on, John, about like Killeen, Louisburgh, it's a rural community.
Oh yeah, we have
And there's miles and miles that you wouldn't see a house, back this way or that direction, left, right, or east, And the thing about it is having a base to come and just to break down that stigma of coming in, having a cup of tea and a chat,
I love the game at 25.
Game of 25.
Yeah, we have.
Is there sweets or money involved?
Prize,
Little prizes.
Could be sometimes in the form of a cake and a bottle or something like
A
that.
porter cake. Here we go. A porter cake.
Before we just go, I'd
No,
like
there's
to
no rush
say
at all. Take your time.
that we are now at the stage where we haven't been able to do much except a few of us talk on
Yeah.
the phones, and we are now at the stage where we're starting very strongly to move onto our site and to start clearing it and to bring it up to finished floor level. At the same time, we need funding extremely badly, and to do that we are now setting up the GoFundMe page.
Yeah.
Dave is doing that.
On that score, where you asked earlier about how does anybody find out about the men's shed, and I mentioned the Mayo News, maybe a little note, but we also have a Louisburgh area men's shed Facebook page. And we have an Instagram page.
Oh,
Now the Instagram page are just photographs, as you know, of what
Yeah,
goes
of
on,
course.
but the Facebook page has a little more content to it,
Yeah.
and we explain what we're doing, and there are contact numbers on that. But
Brilliant.
shortly on that Facebook page, we will have a link to our GoFundMe page, which we're just working through at the moment, and we would hope that as many people as possible would either share it or maybe share it and contribute, or whatever.
I mean, if it's only €1 donation,
It doesn't
you're
matter,
getting,
every
it's something,
single
every
penny
percent
helps.
will
Yeah.
count towards
As
it.
John said, it's really important. We're really ready to go, and we're very anxious to get going.
To get
but
going, of course, yeah.
our funds are limited at the moment. We have enough to get started, and
Yeah.
we just want to keep the ball
No,
rolling.
definitely, because it is such a phenomenal project, the men's shed. It's just
Yes.
fantastic.
It is.
When you
It has
think
generated
the whole
huge
concept
interest.
of it is
Yeah,
fantastic.
it has.
We
It
have a long
really
way
is.
to go on funding, and when we start to do the site clearance, we have decided to go put on the begging board again and look to the local
Yeah.
builders and
Anybody that
contractors and anybody who has skills,
Who wants to donate some
machines
money
and
to
tractors
help
or
out,
whatever
yeah.
to give us a hand, and I'm sure they will, because the people around here are extremely generous.
Extremely, definitely.
And if they can help us out with the bit of funding that we raise and we'll do, and the bit we have in the bank, we might just get to the stage where we'll put a roof on it and after that we'll have to kind
We'll have a
of...
bar dance.
Yeah. Lovely. With your new boy band.
The boy band is good.
The boy band is good, I'm telling you. I've heard them, they're absolutely brilliant, so they're better than good, they're brilliant. But I think that's the thing, if people are watching, you definitely want to be, there'll be a steady stream of people in to see that. But I think definitely we'll check out the Facebook page, we'll give it a share and a like for you guys, and when your GoFundMe page comes live, we'll definitely put that out there too. And encourage it, because I just think it's absolutely fantastic year, brilliant. Because you're all volunteers as well, and like that, everyone has day jobs, everyone has things.
Anybody with spare money in mattress,
We will,
You dispose of mattress with them.
we will be appealing to the Louisburgh greater diaspora all over the world to consider us for a bit of help. And if anybody wants to bring or donate or anything, well, we can give them. We'll be able to provide an account number for them if they want to transfer.
We can share.
If anybody contacts or wants to donate, either would they contact through you?
Yeah, they can contact our Facebook page and we'll direct them. And
Or
like
through
that,
us,
they can
Ronaldi, or John Maxwell, or David.
Of course, yeah.
David.
Great.
Gray and Seamus Welsh and Joe. Any of the guys.
Any of the committee members.
Yeah, even O'Malley's our treasurer.
Yeah.
Eamon from Benelli is great.
Yeah. And like, that's the thing. And so, can you imagine when you guys get into your new premises? What are the plans for when you guys open up a new men's shed?
Well, when we get into our new premises, I think our plans will be then to bring, special people along that will be fit to give talks on different aspects of life, you see. Like there is a lot of things out there that, we should be, we had envisaged that maybe at this stage we'd be there, but like with COVID-19, it just closed down the whole thing. And as well, we closed down,
your own meetings of
we closed them down and we...
Three things we had organised. We had organised the solicitor of the moment to come in and talk about making wills.
Yeah.
And then we had Jimmy Corrigan was to come in and give us instructions on resuscitation and
basic first aid
and all of that. And we were then talking about having a day out on the Kilry Harbour on that
the cruise ship.
And
the boy band on a cruise ship.
We were considering having a night in Clare Island or Inishboffin or somewhere.
And
an angling out.
Please God, we'll also have to support the local Gerald Burke and Maury to take a group back there as well, the last
Absolutely.
Because like that's something that
and that's the thing.
is very, very good in the area.
So many things locally that we can do. You're right, like as you said, John, and like you said, Francis, there's so many link in with so many locals as well. Like so many, we're so lucky in Louisburgh. There are so many different businesses out there. You might even go out for a stand-up paddle out in Old Hedge.
Absolutely.
Why didn't I not pay more?
But the other thing I mention also that the shed, there's no requirement or criteria for membership. You don't have to have any particular skill set, or you don't have to have any particular of any gender or any what's the word I'm looking for, religion or anything like that. That doesn't make one bit of a difference, or age.
Colour or creed.
Colour or creed doesn't matter. Just contact anybody in the shed and come along and join us for a cup of tea or whatever it is, and that's as much as you need do. There's nothing else required of you after that.
And I think as well that there is probably a need in the area for a women's shed. There is funding there, like, if they want to make applications, there's funding.
So they could rent a room off your new building.
We could be in it on a Wednesday, they can be in it on a Thursday, or, vice versa.
The bar dance on Friday,
So, if you can drive that one as well, it would be great to see, because
then we could have not worked together.
Yeah, exactly. Beat you at cards or something, No, that's fantastic, guys. I think you're absolute legends, the whole lot. It's just fantastic to see so enthusiastic and passionate about what you're involved in. And again, as I said, all volunteers, all giving up your time. You're all involved in so many other things besides. But it's just such a brilliant thing to have the Louisburgh area men's shed. Check them out on Facebook, guys, and give them a like. All right. So we'll say goodbye from the men's shed, guys, and goodbye Louisburgh TV, and say goodbye.